prior to working on Scribe, I was at Google. Google acquired my last startup and spent a little over a year there as part of Google Shopping, worked with some super smart people, became definitely a much better engineer in that year. But then the startup bug kind of bit me again and met my now co-founder, Jennifer Smith. And we were sort of just off to the races.
Yeah. What was like that? It's funny, through acqui-hires, like acquisitions and you start working at a company. What was that process like? And how was the adjustment to shifting towards another culture? Did they bring you in as their own unit or were you integrated into the whole Google ecosystem?
Yeah, for sure. So we were brought in sort of as an independent unit, but I mean, we were also on a bigger team.
Yeah.
I mean, just with Google scale, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of total employees. And of course, there are even more contractors as well. So, I mean, it's a giant company. So even if you're relatively big when you're acquired, and we were not, we were small, it was 3 of us, you're going to be part of something bigger. So we were brought into Google Shopping. We had built a bunch of natural language processing tech. Mm-hmm. So basically we had a chat platform that enabled e-commerce companies to basically answer customer questions in natural language. So someone could say, hey, I'm looking for a wooden dresser with at least 6 drawers. And we had stuff that would surface that really easily. And of course, like escalate to a support agent if it was something that the AI couldn't handle. So we were brought in to sort of incorporate that tech, which we did, and then also started working on other projects. But I think I was also just struck by how like impressive my colleagues there seemed. I mean, I had this feeling that we were a bunch of kind of like startup noobs sort of like brought into to big Google. And my coworkers often had like PhDs in like pretty complicated stuff like math, astrophysics, like basically just like super smart folks. So it was cool to get to learn from people who had that kind of formal training and were doing building at just a very different scale than we were used to.
Yeah. Did you bring any of the kind of the system, the structure that Google had? Was there anything that, say, them as a company did well that you carried over that's made your team seem either whether it's a little bit more mature or a little bit more well-designed, well-crafted? What in particular, if anything, did you kind of incorporate into Scribe that you learned at Google?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think basically as a startup founder, and I'm sure you've experienced this too, you kind of have like everything you've done prior to founding a company becomes almost this like menu that you can kind of order from in terms of thinking about what's going to work well in the startup environment. And so when I think about the pieces, I mean, Google is just such a different scale that there is not a lot that like comes over one to one.
Sure.
But I do think they have a very strong culture of mentorship. And I did meet some just amazing managers, people who I was really inspired by there. And that was something that I thought a lot about, especially as we grew the team here. So we're now about 40 people. Yeah. And so we're at that stage where, you know, we do have some managers on the team and thinking about how they can really act as sort of like coaches for the people who report to them.
Sure.
Think about people up-leveling their career at Scribe as opposed to like inputs and outputs, which I think is sort of the default way of thinking about management. And that was something that I saw at Google and really appreciated.